Hello, hello. Happy Monday, everyone. It is 1 o'clock in Medellin. Lovely day. Hope everyone's starting the week off strong. Excited for a big week. And yeah, I just wanted to jump on, share a few updates, announcements, opportunities, a bunch of really good things coming up inside the community that I'm excited about, and I wanted to let you know so you can be excited as well. So just want to make sure my audio's coming through okay. I'm going to set this up. I'm going to set up the live inside of the Different Hunger Facebook group because I want to let them know that I am now live. And yeah, if you're listening to this, you're not in the Different Hunger Facebook community, which is called the New Agency Community. That's where we have over 1,800 awesome agency owners, designers, growth hackers, and we're helping them build what's called new model agencies. So yeah, jump on in if you're not in there. We got a lot of great people. It's totally free. You just need to answer a few questions so I know you're not a freak or anything, right? Just kidding, we're all freaks. So let me just drop this link and I can get this going. So let me grab this video. All right, share it in the, we got to automate this process, right? Okay, here we go. And so, yeah, so first I want to talk you through the calendar. I also want to share an exciting announcement. We're launching thriveOS, which I'll tell you a little bit more about shortly. And so once I share this link, I will go ahead and dive on in. All right, here we go. Boom. All right, so we should have a few more people jump on when that happens. All right. So first of all, I've set up a little bit of a content calendar here so that everybody that is in the group knows what's coming, knows what we're talking about, knows what's coming down the pipe. And so the next few weeks, we're going to be talking about several principles of the new agency and new era business, right? Like the world's changing fast and we really need to make sure that our strategies are not based on old tactics and broken systems, right? So that's what we're going to be talking about this month, especially during COVID-19, all of these riots, all of this economic depression that's coming and has already hit a lot of us. It's important that we understand that these are really just massive opportunities to improve our business and how we operate. So the next few weeks, starting with today, we're going to talk about how to gain leverage by productizing your business. And so I'm going to talk about that a little bit today. Next week, we're going to be talking about how to print money on LinkedIn, legally, of course, because LinkedIn is easily going to be the #1 marketing and sales channel for B2B in the next few years. So how do you capitalize on that? How do you set up a presence on LinkedIn that's going to drive business? Because inside our own business, inside our client businesses that we consult with, the numbers are insane. I mean, people are adding anywhere from 1 to 5 new clients a month on LinkedIn. And these are usually retainer clients. So it's a really powerful channel. After that, once you get an idea of the map and the strategy for LinkedIn, then how do you automate that, right? How do you automate that, delegate that, and use virtual assistants to do that? So we're going to have a live training from Natalie, who is an awesome friend of mine who has really done a great job with her LinkedIn. She's booking about 1 to 3 calls per week from LinkedIn using VAs. And then also next week, we're going to talk with Sean Kemp, who is an awesome copywriter that's generated over 8 figures for his clients and worked with a lot of heavy hitters in digital marketing space. And then lastly, we're going to dive into the secret to steady growth. And so I'll give you a little bit of a hint. the secret to steady growth might have a little bit to do with thriveOS, which is our new membership mastermind marketplace that is going to be launching at the end of this month. And so all of the content that we are sharing this month for free, that will be inside of thriveOS, where we expand upon it a little bit more and, just provide you with more access and resources. And I'll tell you all about thriveOS a little later. So those are the upcoming events and calendar. So if you jump into the Different Hunger community and go to the events, you can see all of the upcoming training. So this is the event we're at now. Next, or in a few days, we're going to have an automation masterclass. Next week, we're having premium branding and positioning with Sean. Then Natalie's going to give her training. Then we're going to have a reunion. And then I'm going to be doing a live demo and tour of the thriveOS membership and mastermind. All right. So yeah, if you're not part of this group, go ahead, search it, New Agency by Different Hunger. A lot of great people in there. And as you can see, some awesome content coming up. So all that being said, let me know if you guys can hear me. Drop a like, drop a heart, whatever you got. Show me some love so that more people can see this content and get access to these amazing people that we're all going to be learning from in the next few weeks. All right. So first of all, let's dive into how to gain leverage by productizing. And then we'll finish with an exciting announcement about the Creator Scholarship. And I'm going to dive into that after I go through the productizing piece. All right. So let's jump on in. All right. So productizing is really step one when it comes to building a new agency model, a new era business model that is going to be sustainable, scalable, profitable, all those good things. And that's what the main focus of our Facebook group, right? And so when we're looking at the new model and the old model, we're specifically looking at the different parts of the business and how do they compare, right? And so when you are able to productize your business model, you're able to experience these types of numbers, right? So we're talking about automated lead generation that's about 80% automated, 45-minute to 14-day sales processes, and 0 proposals, as opposed to endless sales cycles and back and forth proposals, which is a big problem for a lot of agencies. You can have more fully automated operations because the systems are productized, and I'll dive into that shortly. Cash flow is predictable. You have clients on retainers that are paying you every month. You're not stuck with one-off campaigns and projects, right? And because everything is so systemized, you can have much higher profit margins, right? So typically, we're looking at anywhere from 40% to 80% net, as opposed to 5% to 30%, hiring very high-level, senior-level strategists, as opposed to virtual assistants with a productized model, right? And so the savings are massive. And then lastly, the new model is all about creating wealth, creating impact, contributing to the world. And the old model, unfortunately, is the reason that a lot of agency owners have anxiety attacks. And, I myself have suffered with that, and depression and all that gross stuff that, is necessary, but it's also, you don't want it to stick around longer than it needs to, right? But this old model, because it's so inconsistent, it just lends itself to a lot of challenges, right? And so I just want to share a little story about my boy Oreo here, because when we start talking about productizing, we're talking about really how do you leverage your time and how do you leverage your resources so that you're not doing everything, right? Because think about, people like Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Warren Buffett. These guys are not, jumping on onboarding calls. They're not jumping on, to talk about client revisions. They're not doing those types of things. They're very leveraged in what they're doing, right? They build businesses that create massive leverage. And so a few weeks ago, when I was playing with my boy Oreo and Ana Maria, we were throwing the ball back and forth, all right? We had to make this boy tired, because if he's not tired, he's gonna cause all types of problems, right? So what I used to do was I would just run around with him. And the problem is, he's a puppy and I'm an old dude, and I would get tired before he did, right? Because I was doing everything. So Ana Maria and I, we thought about this. All right, how can we create a better model, right? Like, I don't want to have to sweat and get tired to play with my puppy. And so we started playing basically like a monkey in the middle. We would sit down in my apartment, we'd roll the ball back and forth, and Oreo would run back and forth like this. So without us doing anything, just rolling a ball, we achieved our objective, okay? And so we leveraged, different tools like my apartment and the ball to tire out Oreo and achieve our objective without us doing all the work, okay? Does that make sense? And so I share this story because when it comes to the new model and achieving these types of numbers and results, it's about creating leverage, right? You can't be the business owner that's doing lead gen, sales, operations, cash flow, net profit, everything, right? You have to remove yourself from the business, and the way that you do that is by productizing, okay? And so Oreo is just a great reminder of that process, all right? So let me know, drop Oreo in the comments if that makes sense, all right? So just give me a little Oreo. I want to make sure you're listening, following along, because I just want to make sure that's a big, powerful point, right? And so when it comes to making the switch from operator to owner, you really have to change your mindset, right? So I just told you that story to just give you a different perspective, because if you have to continue to invest your time and money to grow, then you're just going to look like this guy, right? But if you can find a way to leverage yourself, then you can have the type of freedom that you wanted when you started the business, right? Which everybody should have, everybody deserves. That's how we create our best work, right? Okay, so I just want to make sure that makes sense. Got some Oreo is my boy, he's hilarious. So again, this is another visual of this concept, right? Because if you have to look, all right, I get paid, then you have to go do the work. Then you have to do that steps 1 and 2 forever and ever and ever and ever. You're never removing yourself from the equation. If you're not removing yourself from the equation, you are forever going to be stuck in the business. And if you're stuck in the business, then yeah, maybe you can grow multiple 6 figures, 7 figures, maybe 8 figures, but I doubt it. But what the real cost is, your life, your sanity, right? So at some point, you're going to have to remove yourself from the business, because if you don't, there's always going to be that anxiety because you're the bottleneck in the business, okay? And so again, the problem is that you are investing, more and more of your time into the business without being able to step away, okay? So I want to just quickly take you through a case study. Not really a case study, it's going to be kind of a highlight reel, but I want to explain how this new model allows you to be more profitable with a $300K per year business than a $3 million per year business, and specifically agencies, okay? So yes, 300K per year revenue agency is more profitable than a $3 million per year revenue agency using the new model. And let me explain why. Okay? So let's break down the costs for the team and fulfillment. So under the old model, which is not productized, right? It's basically, all right, a client asks us if we can do something, we say yes. And then this is what happens. Or you say, okay, look, I can do design, or I can do marketing, or I can do Facebook ads. And then next thing you know, you say yes, and then you're doing a whole bunch of different things for the client. So that's what this looks like. That's what 60% of your revenue has to go to when you're running the business that way, when there's not consistency with systems. Okay? And then the operating costs are going to be higher because you're going to have to hire managers and business managers to manage everything. Okay? And so those two numbers are 95% of the business. And so your margin is only 5%. Now, if you're not a $3 million per year agency, you might be like, oh, those numbers are crazy. But the reality is I've posted this in multiple agency groups, and people are like, yep, that was my old business, or yep, unfortunately, that's my business, right? And so these are conservative numbers, okay? And so that's the old model. With the new model, here's how $300K a year is more profitable. So with a productized model, what that means is every step of the business is a machine, okay? Every step of the business is a machine. So lead generation, productized. Sales, productized. Delivery, productized. Client success, productized. There's a system for every single thing, okay? And so when you have that level of granularity with your processes, you don't need to hire a $10,000 per month person to manage things, right? You can actually hire a virtual assistant to implement these systems, and then somebody like a project manager to manage the business, okay? And so what that looks like is only 25% of your $300K per year revenue is going towards your team and fulfillment, and your operating costs are also less because of that. And so your profit is 60% net with the productized model, okay? And so this was a real life example from the marketing agency that I started about 2 years ago, okay? So that is the power of productizing your business, okay? And so let me just pull up another quick example to drive this point home, okay? Here we go. All right. So, this is another visual of this concept, just to bring it home again, okay? So when you are thinking about your business, I would say like 999 business owners out of 100 want to grow, okay? Usually that's something like one new client a month on the low side, and then a few clients a month on the higher side, right? And so the idea is, how do you set up a business model so that with every new client, you're not increasing the effort and complexity, right? Because under the old model, by definition, everything is being redefined. So effort and complexity is always going up. And so your growth curve is going to look something like this on this visual, okay? Because each new client adds more effort and complexity. New hires, higher operation expenses, lower retention, lower profitability. On the flip side, with the new model, you have capacity to add 2 to 5 new clients a month, every month, with 50 to 80% margins. okay? So this is what your curve looks like, right? You can add 2 to 5, 2 to 10 new clients without dramatically increasing the complexity. So that means you can take on more clients and you can grow and you can be more profitable as you grow. So that's the ideal scenario. And productizing is step 1 to achieving this, okay? So drop me a comment. Let me know if this makes sense. Let me know if this lands, because I just want to make sure that this is really hitting home, okay? So that's the productized side of things, okay? And then lastly, I want to show you the exact model for what a productized business looks like. And essentially, this is the new model in terms of operations, marketing, sales, retention, okay? All right, so you have your inbound and outbound marketing, you have your inbound and outbound sales, and then you have services and retention, okay? So I want to start with what people are paying you for. So if you're listening to this and you're saying, okay, that makes sense. I understand why, every new client I get, I have to do more and more work because I'm not removed. I'm the bottleneck in the business. So you're probably wondering now, okay, what's the next step? So when it comes to productizing, start with your service, okay? Start with what you know how to do. Start with your service because that's what people are paying you for, right? So don't start with marketing. Start with your service, okay? Because the sooner you can remove yourself from service delivery, the sooner you can start spending your time on sales and marketing and growing your business, okay? But the problem is, when a lot of these agency owners in our group and community, when they hit, 5, 10K a month, 20K a month, it happens because they're getting a bunch of referrals, not because they're marketing and selling. And so they end up getting stuck in the work and they don't have any time to build out their marketing and sales systems because they can't remove themselves from this part. That's why you have to start with this, okay? And so what you need to do is map out your entire delivery process first, from start to finish, right? And so when you do this, you have to select your core delivery, your core service, right? That could be a bundle of services, but it needs to be one repeatable system that you use every time to get results for clients, okay? So the chances are is you're probably going to have to cut out some things, but what you want to do is focus on the one delivery or service that is going to free you up more and more so that you can really productize, right? Because if you have repeatable delivery, you have consistent results and you have lean operations. And so what that equals is you can get clients quicker ROI. The sooner you get clients quicker ROI, the longer and the more months they're going to be happy to pay you, right? And then the more happy clients you get, the more referrals you get, right? And so this is like easily the highest value of your whole business that you want to productize because that's going to allow you to scale to the next level. And productizing makes things better. It does not make things worse. It does not make your service worse. It increases the quality, right? Because let's say you get food poisoning for a few days and you can't work. Well, if you can't work, then and you don't have a system to productize your delivery, then your clients aren't going to get their services and they're going to be pissed off, right? So if that's how easily your business breaks, that's a really big problem that has to get sorted, right? Because you don't want to be a liability to your clients, to your team. That's the problem with the old model, right? And so productizing your delivery, that's what that looks like, okay? And so I don't have time to dive into all of the marketing and sales. That's what we're going to cover over the next few weeks as we lead up to the thriveOS member launch. But I hope that this was valuable. And if you do want to get more support on how do you productize the business, what I want you to do is go to this website, and I'm going to drop a link into my live as well. And this is the new agency ebook, which is going to take you through the entire step-by-step process of how do you productize the business, okay? It's about 40, 50 pages. It'll probably take you anywhere from like 20, 30 minutes to read, but it's going to really help you understand how do you actually start putting this productized model into practice so that you can gain leverage and scale and grow and be happy, right? And not stressed and not anxious. Okay, so let me drop that link here. And lastly, share an exciting announcement. So I recently decided to put together a scholarship and contest for some inspiring people, designers, creatives, because for the last few years, I've had a massive privilege to meet so many amazing people that I'm just really inspired by. And, you know, we have been doing coaching and consulting and services for the last few years, but the reality is, you know, not everybody can afford $5,000, $10,000 coaching courses, all that good stuff. And so for people that really do need support, or, you know, maybe they had some tough spots come into play. I know like COVID-19 is wiping out people's client bases and all this stuff. You know, I know that that is a reality in some cases. And so I want to be able to support anybody and everybody that has hunger, vision, and potential. And so what we're going to do is twice a year, we're going to choose two people, two grand prize winners twice a year to win a year of business coaching, access to our accelerator, access to our membership. And so I'm really excited to announce this, and I'm going to be formally announcing this to the public in the next few days. But first, I just wanted to jump on and share this with you. And so if this is something that sounds cool, let me pull up scholarship here. I have a form that I'll drop at the bottom of this live. And this will be your application form for the scholarship. And so just to recap, twice a year in October and March, we're going to select one grand prize winner to win the following: 6 months of access to the new Agency Accelerator course with coaching, 2 annual mastermind tickets for you and a +1, as well as annual access to the thriveOS mastermind and marketplace. Okay? And so I'm really excited about this because I know there's so many talented, inspiring people that are doing amazing things, and this is our way to give back and help those people. And everybody that applies will get bonuses and unlock some free resources just for signing up. And so all you need to do is just submit an application. There's about 6 questions here, and that's it. And then coming up in October, we will announce the winners, and I'm really excited about this. So let me just go ahead and drop this link, and anybody that wants to go ahead and apply is able to do so. And I will be making some formal announcements on the Different Hunger website and blog and email list and all that good stuff shortly. But for those of you who are listening in, go ahead and get early access right on down there. All right, so that's it for today's call. I hope that was useful. And I'm happy to stick around a few minutes. If any of you guys have questions that are listening, just go ahead and drop them in the next minute or two, and I'll answer those. But I'm excited to jump into next week, more on how to generate leads and earn on LinkedIn. And later this week, we're going to dive deeper into productizing. So if those are things that you need help with, go ahead, jump on into the new agency community. And I'm really excited. We're going to have an exciting month ahead. We're going to hear from some inspiring people like Sean, Natalie, Casper, Martin. And at the end of the month, we're going to open up the thriveOS membership, which is going to change the game in a lot of ways. And I'm excited to tell you more about that in the next few days. All right. So let me see if we got any questions. If not, I'll kick it. All right. Well, it looks like we're good to go then. So thank you guys for tuning in. Have a great rest of your Monday. Peace.